Morning. It's Nairametrics brings you her industry outlook for the month of July. We are obviously delving into the tech space, more specifically artificial intelligence, how to make money. And I'm sure whenever you see how to make money, a lot of antennas go up. But yes, how to make money and possibly make the most of AI, and using AI value creation for businesses, entrepreneurs, and the government. I was able to have this conversation earlier in the week, but briefly, right? And there was a lot of excitement, some excitement around what AI adoption could possibly do when it comes to cutting cost, and increasing the level of productivity. So there's a lot brewing. There's a lot of conversation in the artificial intelligence space, and not just globally here in Nigeria. It seems like, there's some attempt to align with the global trends in tech. Specifically this week, we had the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. He announced Nigerian startup that was selected to build Nigeria's first AI. The federal government, I think it was even the Vice President himself in Jigawa, unveiled initiatives to train 1,000 Nigerians annually in AI and blockchain. So there's a lot brewing. The question some will ask is, are we ready for it? Are we positioned for it? Will the skills be practicable? And I look forward to hearing the perspective of our amazing lineup of panelists, who will be, fleshing out this conversation on artificial intelligence, how to make money using artificial intelligence, value creation for businesses, entrepreneurs, and government. And if you're listening right now, you may have a question along the line. Feel free to drop the question in the Q&A box, and also keep the conversation going in the chat box. Introduce yourself, where you're joining us from, and so much more. I am Joanna. I'll be one of the moderators today. I'll be moderating alongside Samuel Oyekomi, and I'm passing the mic to him now so that he can introduce our amazing lineup of panelists. Samuel, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Joanna, and thank you everyone for joining us today for this session. I'm quite excited. There's been a lot of conversations around AI, and we have a very interesting line of experts who would help us also understand AI and how to make money. I think that is going to make every one of us a little bit smiley. So first on our list here, we have Mr. Ejowoke Enakirehi, founder and group CEO, Real Search and Incorporated. He's going to be the one that's going to be helping us with the presentation today, like to set the tone for the panelist discussion. He's a visionary pioneer and staunch advocate for the transformative potential of artificial intelligence, with a particular focus on its role in propelling Nigeria into a new era of progress and innovation. He has a profound dedication towards harnessing AI for societal impact. He's also pioneering groundbreaking solutions that are set to revolutionize industries and positively impact communities across Nigeria and beyond. Going forward, we also have Mr. Abel Abo. He's a leader in the areas of data and AI. He's a high-performing data management and AI leader who works for the Bank of England, the United Kingdom Central Bank in the City of London. Abel has almost 2 decades unique cross-functional and sector experience with broad exposure to data management, technology, AI, human resource management, change management, governance and oversight, transformation, stakeholders, engagement, and program delivery in the UK. And the list just goes a whole lot. But obviously, just from the presentation, you can see that Mr. Abel Abo has quite an extensive knowledge across data and AI. So we move to the lady in the house, Hajia Rakia Shuaibu Mohammed. She is the immediate past director of ICT, the Central Bank of Nigeria. She's an IT management consultant with over 30 years of experience, which over 15 years were in leadership positions as a former director, CIO, IT, CISO, and enterprise architect at the Central Bank of Nigeria. She's passionate about data and analytics, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and central bank digital currencies, and a host of many other things. So thank you very much, Adia, for joining us today. Going forward, we also have Afiz Ramoni. He's the CIO of NGS Group. He's a distinguished professional renowned for his extensive expertise in intersection financial services and technology, holding a bachelor's degree in computer science and economics from OAU. I don't know. Ajia, can you please mute your mic? I think your microphone is
My mic
unmuted.
was muted. No, it was from me.
All right, thank you very much. So I was talking about Mr. Hafiz Ramoni. Mr. Hafiz Ramoni joined the NGX in 2012 as a development lead, playing a crucial role in implementing a state-of-the-art trading platform. His tenure at NSE included various responsibilities, also serving as acting head of market services. As a CIO, he has championed digital transformation initiatives, propelling the organization's technological evolution. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Hafiz Ramoni. Moving ahead, we also have Mr. Daniel Awe. He's the head Africa FinTech Foundry. He's the head of, as I said earlier, of a FinTech Foundry, where he leads the initiative to scout, search, and identify industry-agnostic startups solving critical problems. In addition to supporting startups, Mr. Daniel directs the venture strategy, focusing on developing the experience as a payment solution architect. Previously led the channel's solution delivery group at Access Bank PLC, now Access Holdings, before his current role. He's consistently driven innovation, creating cutting-edge payments platforms in the financial sector. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Awe, for joining us for this webinar today. And thank you all for the panelists and speakers today for joining us. We move straight up to the webinar presentation, where I will be inviting Mr. Ejuwoke Inakire to help us with the presentation.
Thank you very much, Samuel. Good morning, Nigeria, and of course, my honorable panelists here. Thank you for our great audience, and we'll make an attempt to help your Saturday morning. It will give you more value today. I've been given a very interesting topic to talk about how to make money using AI. I understand that the interest around AI is growing, and even more is the fact that more people want to know, right, what does this AI do and how does this benefit me? So allow me this morning to, make some great attempts to help you understand this question even better. So first, let's start by introducing AI. First and foremost, when new technology or new products come to the market, majority of people are afraid to embrace it because of possibly maybe the complexity of the definition. I'll try my best this morning to just make it a bit simpler. Think about AI like a robot or like a machine that has been designed to have the ability to think and act like a person, right? So imagine I am a robot today. I can actually take this presentation without me physically being here, right? That is what an AI can do, right? So I just made this a bit simpler by saying that AI is like you, like when you talk to a smart toy that can answer your questions or play games with you, giving you that, that ability because it's got a brain itself, to function very, very well. So that's what AI is. AI has the ability to think, right? Before AI, machines could only act. But now with AI, machines could not just only act. Machines have a sort of ability to make personal decisions, which we are seeing today. And as they go by, it's even going to get more interesting because with more data coming in today, we can even have AI is doing even more interesting things. Now, when we talk about AI, right, we want to talk about making money. But remember that one way to make money is also to save money, right? So my presentation, the next 3 slides will be a bridge between saving money and making money. And I'll try to cut it across from business owners to students, work at home, a number of people. Now, I'll share some personal stories For example, as business owners, we understand that customer is king, right? And your customer service could do a whole lot for you. Today that businesses are faced with more competition than ever before, one of your greatest edge if you run a business today is if you can take your time to build a robust customer service infrastructure. Now, I know a lot of people spend money, millions of naira, thousands of dollars to like improve and to develop customer service infrastructure. But the news I have for you today is that with AI, there are a lot of AI-driven customer service infrastructure today that can not only just save you money, right? They can also optimize your customer service experience, right? I give an example. I launched a startup sometime in December. We had about 9 customer service reps because it was a global, international platform. And once we introduced an AI solution to it, we cut down to about 3 people today. So, of course, I'm not just advocating for downsizing, but I'm going to tell you how effective that could be. On the advantage we saw beyond just reducing cost is that we now have more data, right, about our customers, right? Which brings me to point number 2, personalized marketing. So today, AI makes it possible for you to give a personalized marketing experience to your customers. Remember that if a particular customer likes blue and you're showing that customer red, the chance of that customer taking that product is almost 0. Now with AI, the infrastructure, the solution can actually treat every customer uniquely, trying to understand the behavior, the buying pattern of that customer, trying to understand the buying demand and the sensitivity of that customer. Now, of course, that's the beauty about AI. You can capture this data, right? And this data can give you smart reporting, can also give you some smart information that can help you in your decision making. How about your financial analysis? Today, we have businesses, go through a lot of financial hiccups. But with AI, when you get good data, you can actually have a situation where you can improve on your budgeting, right? It can help you in predicting where you should put in more finances and where you should cut down your cost. AI is also helpful in inventory management, right? And that's really good because with that, for example, it saves you from overstocking and also saves you from, stock out situations. So you can see that all of this comes from data and data. Recommendation. This has really helped my business personally. With product recommendation, where the tool, the AI tool, can actually help you to look at customers' previous buying patterns, look at customers' purchase history, also capture data, match data, okay, across other similar customers, and you're able to recommend to customers that, oh, this can work, that can work. I remember one of our products, we employed a particular AI tool that was able to grow our revenue at a particular month by about 17%, right? So what we did that time was we tried to look at buying patterns of certain customers, like returning customers. And the AI was able to establish some common points, and we're able to use that to now target customers that were not having repurchase history. And we saw that we had a conversion rate of about 17%, right? That's growth. How about fraud detection, right? As business owners, it could be overwhelming, managing customers, managing inventories, managing a number of things. Right, there's smart AI tools today that can save a lot of money than just relying on people to give you reports, right? And it can be so effective that from almost about the time that things start going wrong, right, the AI can help you to spot it. So most times we have to wait until there's an audit check and whatnot. And before then, a lot of money has gone down the drain. Maybe you resort to getting the police or the authority to go after people. But when you employ some really smart AI tool, I can tell you that you can even reduce the time, okay, of tracking and spotting financial mix-up in your organization. Now, it doesn't also end there. We can also talk about AI for students. Like, how can AI benefit students today? The first start point is upskill, right? Unlike before that, again, it's still news that unlike before that conventional education is key to excel in society, right? Today, conventional education can come secondary if you can even, upskill yourself. There are a lot of interesting AI opportunities today, skill sets that you can actually get and obtain, and a number of courses online, free of them. Okay, some of them are paid, and it's quite, the price is worth it. I remember talking to one of my big uncles last month. His son returned from London and will be around for another 8 weeks. And he said during this period, he's trying to see what course the son could do. And there was a particular course recommended to the son. And the idea is, with that, for example, in his spare time, he can start freelancing. So what freelancing, of course, a number of people know what freelancing is. With this skill set, right, you can get jobs, from anywhere in the world. What I tell people is that there are some certain skills today that I regard as global skill, right? It's not only, it's ubiquitous, it's not tied to a particular location. It can be done remotely, and you can generate revenue at your convenience, right? Knowing some of this skill, right, as young people, whether you're in school, whether you're just finishing NYC, whether you just got your first job, right? You need to think about becoming a global citizen. You need to think about having global skill, right? And AI today, there are a lot of AI demand skill today, from prompt engineering and what have you, right? It can give you that so much power today. Give you so much power today. I'm one of such people, and I know a number of people that sits at home, right? And they never experience traffic, right? And they are today delivering great values, working remotely with different companies, both locally and internationally. And why it's even interesting is that we as young people, we can have multiple opportunities at the same time, and that can generate real revenue for you and income. What about startups, innovative projects today? And one of the angles that are really, driving funding for startups today, it's AI-powered innovations. So there are a number of startups today, and there are a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems that AI today can solve, right? And AI is solving. One of my friends spoke to me yesterday from the US. They launched a product, quite a very simple product. Because I'm a tech person, I was just like, okay. And the product has been around for just like about 16 months or less. But when they introduced AI to it, right, today they have about almost 45,000 paying customers, monthly paying customers. And these are customers paying between $9 to $14 monthly, right? So you can see that it increases your reach, it increases the kind of product you can develop and you can deploy, right, globally and internationally. What about for governments? Right? Governments can use AI to improve the living conditions of our citizens, right? You can see that from smart cities, you can see that from traffic management system, which of course, AI being used for traffic management can reduce carbon footprints. Beyond that, it can also give a better living condition. Of course, where it's getting more expensive every day. With a smart AI system, we can see a situation whereby, there'll be less commuting, right? We have less congestion to what the government is doing. And it can also help in saving money on infrastructure and improve citizen satisfaction. How about how the government can increase their tax revenue bracket and also attract effects? From policy development, there are a number of ways government can encourage private sector investments in AI. This can actually foster innovation and economic growth. And I think, like what the speaker, the anchor said earlier on, what the vice president is trying to do recently, this kind of policies, if we as government people are putting real energy and attention to it, we can see situations where the tax revenue bracket can also be increased and a number of businesses can come in and we can attract FX. Because when you have startups, when you have companies that are locally based, but they have global, the problem they're solving, it's global, right? I mean, you can imagine the kind of revenue that can be coming into those companies and the tax also that government can benefit from. So I think it's really good that government look at this area even more, in addition to what they're doing currently. There are other areas, there are opportunities for health professionals, healthcare professionals, telemedicine, diagnosis tools today. For example, there are note-taking AIs, and that's helping consultants. Before now, people have to leave their homes to meet up consultants. Today, of course, with webinars like this and Zooms and Google Meet and what have you, people can sit comfortably and have consultation sessions with their clients. But now what has even made it more interesting is that unlike before where you have to, while you're talking to your client, you're taking notes and whatnot. Today with AI tools like note-taking tools, right? You can just, listen all through, have great conversation. And at the end of the conversation, the AI tool can give you a smart summary, not just give a smart summary. And it can also identify areas of concerns within that conversation bracket that you want to look at. For real estate, it can be used for property valuation, market analysis. So realtors can know what kind of buildings they should invest into, more what kind of designs, if customers demand or customers interest are shifting or changing. With smart AI data tools, you can actually, start making, this kind of decisions even better. You can also use that for human resource. One of the ways to grow your business or generally, one of the ways to improve the service delivery perspective of what you do is how you manage people, how you attract and how you manage people. Today with AI tools, right, there are a lot of opportunities now where human resource systems are even more effective, from recruitment, you are able to spot, identify best candidates more efficiently, improve your hiring process and reduce cost. Apart from that, employees engagement as well as management can even become more effective, because remember that no matter how awesome your desire or your vision is as a leader, right? The first thing, right, that you must have if you must be successful is a great team, right? And putting up a great team is a huge task. It's as much as a progressive task, right? Employing AI can even help reduce the complexity of the tasks, right? From recruitment to even employee engagement and management. You are able to monitor employees' engagement and productivity even better and smarter. So you can see that we can take this down to environment and agriculture sector, where AI today is helping a whole lot in farming, from crop health, monitoring, optimization of irrigation, to predict yield, increase efficiency and profitability, and what have you. Last thing I want to really focus on is for general internet users, because we have a huge percentage of young people today who are always online, right? And it's no longer news that a number of these people, of these young people, are making money online these days from UGC, user-generated content, right? With AI, you can tap into this trend easily, right? And this comes from generating engaging content, from social listening. You can be able to know trends. You can be able to know what audience are looking for right now. You can be able to grow your audience and, of course, monetize this advantage. So how am I going to conclude? In conclusion, what is AI? AI is like a piano, right? It's like a piano. So whether you know how to play piano or not, if you strike on a key, it's sure going to make a sound, right? That's AI. But the melody from the piano is created by the pianist, not the piano itself. So what that simply means is that just like a piano, the potential of AI is determined by the people and business using it. So AI is only as powerful as the person using it. So this, I want to say thank you very much. I believe that I've been able to trigger your interest more to maybe do some more research for your team together, ask better questions. And I believe the panelists will also take it away and do some great job to it. Once again, thank you very much and good morning.
All right. Thank you very much for that presentation. That was very, very insightful. I took a lot of notes from there. Very, 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 very well presented. But yeah, let's get into the conversation because I see that this presentation has already set us in motion. More or less set the tone for the conversation we're going to be having today. So I will start with Mr. Abel first. So some of the things that Mr. Our presenter had just mentioned, areas where we could use AI across different sector, health. So based on your vast experience, right, across small and medium scale enterprise ops, particularly can benefit from the use of AI. And then if you can go a little bit further to help us with actual steps that they can take for.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, go ahead.
Fantastic. So yeah, good morning, everyone. Everyone that's joining the call, I think it's really important for you that's taking your Saturday morning to join this call. It just shows your quest for knowledge. And I think I just want to give a shout out quickly to Nairametric team for doing this. I think it's really, really important. This is how communities form and this is how society is developed. And more importantly, this is our better economy is translated. So whenever you look at the US or China or whatever, this is how they do it, okay? There's no other way at all. It's about collaboration, people sharing their knowledge freely. So from your question, and I think, you know, what we've just said as well is absolutely true. I would go further to say to you that AI is almost like your website. You know, people begin to worry about the technicality for AI. I'm just going to say to you, don't worry about that too much. AI simply is just a subset of what we call deep learning. And because we create loads of data at the moment, so what happens is that there's a technique that you can use to analyze data to get better insights. You know, you can culture the data, fine tune it, and all the rest of them. So ever you're operating in whatever spaces. So there are two broad spaces people operate in. One is private sector or public sector. Okay. There's two things people do. People do create goods or then they create services as well. So whatever state you're operating, I want to tell you that you can use artificial intelligence for that. And why is it that you need to use artificial intelligence? It is the other step of using technology. There's no other way at all. Let me just take this a circle back at all. There is no other organization since 2000, after the internet was created, that a company has been given about 11 billion to develop their product, even if they have not sold anything. And the reason for that is Microsoft gave OpenAI about 11 billion. Now, I need to let you know, 11 billion is much more than GT Bank, Access Bank, and other banks as well. You want to put that into that kettle as well. Microsoft gave them that amount of money for them to develop this product. And some of you, you've got GPT in your phones at the moment. And that's what the power and the reason these people are putting this money is because it is the new frontier. And one of the things we're really wanting to do for African business, Nigerian businesses, you and I in this call, is to ensure that you're positioning yourself to take advantage. Okay, so the speaker previously has talked about several benefits. I'm not going to bore you with that, but one of the key things you want to think about is if you're selling anything, you need to have customers. And you need to know what your customer wants, and you need to know what your customer need, and you even need to know how to position those things to them. You're definitely going to use artificial intelligence to do that. One of the keys where he talked about saving money and making money as well. There are three things I would say that matters in organization. One of them is to make money. The other one is to save money. And the third one is to minimize or manage your risks, because there's risks in everything that you do. So you can use artificial intelligence to help you with that. Absolutely, 100%. The other one is about efficiency. Why is it important? Efficiency is important because if there's so much waste in the process, right, you're not going to get the right value. You're not going to benefit. So I think you're definitely going to use artificial intelligence to manage that. Now, that could be automation. That could be streamlining. That could be in order to identify things and monitor things before they become problems. So the speakers have told you that anyway. So for me, when you think about the benefits of AI, these are the key things. No matter wherever space you're operating in the public sector or the private sector, you're creating goods or you're creating services. Those are the key things. I don't want to talk too much, but there's so much more we can go on this, but I'm just conscious of time. But feel free to reach out to me and we can have follow-up conversation. I'll pass back to the moderator. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Abel. But I'll still stay with you there because you mentioned some of the areas that AI can actually do help businesses to manage their risk, to be able to help them minimize their spending, of course, increase revenue and profitability, amongst others. But I know you're not really based here in Nigeria, but again, you're very vast around the whole IT space and tech hubs and all that. Do you think that the Nigerian innovation hubs now and tech incubators are making enough effort in supporting AI adoption and development in Nigeria? Because I remember 2019, 2020, we had a lot of incubators coming up, supporting fintechs and all that. But right now, the world is moving into AI adoption. Do you think they are doing enough? And even if they are or they are not doing enough, what specific AI tools can you give as an example to some of our listeners who might want to explore adopting some of these AI tools in their businesses?
Fantastic. That's a great question. I think when you see societies operate quite smartly, and so for example, I'm in the board in Data Lab Scotland. So Data Lab Scotland is responsible for everything data and AI across Scotland as a whole. What that means is that they set the framework on how to go about doing things, and it's almost beyond trust strategy. You're talking about implementation, and more importantly, they are the vehicle that collects money from the government and pass the money to the respective institution. And one of the key things that happen in that space is that we send people to go study in great universities. So we pay for their masters, we pay for their PhDs and all that as well. So back to your question in terms of Nigeria. Obviously, I do know that the Minister of Digital Economy at the moment, they've had their AI strategy session. I do know that they're doing some work behind the scene as well. And obviously, the stuff they're talking about giving people money. More importantly, what they also need to do is about trying to solve some of the big ticket problems that we have. What do I mean by that? So, for example, we've got an agricultural problem because there's lack of food. So what you want to do now is to get a team of people to solve that problem now. I'm not talking about later. I'm talking about now. So there's something in technology which is called MVP. So you create a minimum viable option, you take it to the market and show people and demonstrate value. And there's other part that we have problems as well. So are you talking about the financial inclusion? We have real problem in that. Sometimes we believe that everyone in Nigeria is connected. Some people in Nigeria have no business with internet. They're not connected to internet, they're offline, and that's a huge number of people. We need to start thinking about how to bring them. But more importantly, for those people that are working in government department, we need to be really, really strategic and tactical on how we increase our data literacy level. What that simply means is that the fact that 1 + 2 = 3 doesn't necessarily mean that you're data literate. What that simply means is that you just know numbers. When we're talking about artificial intelligence, you've got to know beyond more than that. So we need to evolve our people and start talking to them about data literacy. We need to start talking to them about data privacy as well. I mean, there are a couple of news that came up about the name number, that people say they can buy it off the shelf, they can get people's private data. So we need to start talking about data security. These are the whole bandwagon that enables you successfully to deliver data and AI successfully. So for me, I think that there are great things that we are doing at the moment, and there are other opportunities. So in terms of partnership, we need to be forward in working with the African countries, okay? Because I always say to people, African data and African people are quite unique. And what we don't simply want to do is to go and take something outside in Europe or in Asia and apply it to ourselves. So we need to be working, leading the charge and working with other African countries in order to build the right strategy that works for African. And I will say this for a fact, Nigerian problem cannot be solved by anyone. The only people that can solve Nigerian problem is Nigerians. If you're not Nigerian, you might not be able to solve Nigerian problems. So we've got enough abundant of people with the skills, the expertise, the exposure. So what we need to do is to collaboratively work with them. So the current government is doing some work, but they need to do more. But it's about solving the problem that we have. Let me just bring this down to a bit of just a reality. Let's say we take 10 sectors in the economy and take 10 problems in each of the sectors. What we need to do is to get the right team of people to solve those sectorial problems. So for example, agriculture, for example, we're talking about sports, for example, we're talking about financial services, for example, we're talking about education, for example, we're talking about, environmental, we take those problems that we know that we have and create the right team of people to solve that problem now. We're not going to solve the problem, 100%. But what we do, as we're solving those problems, we are learning lessons. But more importantly, fundamentally, we are collecting the data that is required. So I think I'm just going to stop there for now.
Yes, spot on, Mr. Abel. I like the fact that you mentioned the fact that it's Nigerians that's going to help solve most of Nigerians' problems. And what I also hear from there is that we're not doing enough. We really need to do more, involving a lot of partners. I want to come to Mr. Hafiz Ramoni. Based on your role as the CIO at NGX, I reckon you engage a lot with a lot of the businesses in Nigeria, especially those who are quoted. And I just wanted to get your feel on what are businesses, how are businesses now leveraging on AI to enhance their operation, either even to the extent of customer experiences, operations, logistics, and transportation. And then, as much as you are giving some of these examples as to how these businesses are leveraging on AI, I would like to also know, are there any challenges that they are facing? And if there are challenges, what are the possible solutions that they can also adopt to be able to scale to Mr. Hafiz?
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. And good morning, Nigerians. Here and in diaspora. Very good question. Nigerian companies have actually, the power of AI in several ways, right? Ranging from the banking sector, the investments, the security, physical security, and also in real estate. Let's start from the banking sector. Way back 2018, 2019, one of the banks, Nigeria, released a virtual assistant they called you. And today, you can really chat with that virtual assistant. That's an implementation of an AI, a chatbot that you can solve your problem. In fact, I've seen people chat with Leo not just because they wanted to solve a problem, but because they were just bored and just want to engage, and they came back very, very alive, right? We also had another implementation by another bank called Ziva. It's also an AI powered chatbot that allows interaction with the bank customer. So if you look at also the legal services, right, there's also the teaming legal services that helps the Nigerian lawyers, right, to do legal research, to review legal opinions, litigation, and legal drafting. with a tool like Timi, which is very useful to Nigerian lawyers. They can delve into, I think it's a product of Law Pavilion. They can delve into law reports and stuff around legal and civil procedures. In fact, Nigerians can also interact to get civil procedure and litigation rules concerning some issues. In telecommunication, we've seen Ziggy from MTN. Ziggy is also a virtual. So in essence, the virtual assistant has been the most use case by Nigerian companies. Also, there is a virtual assistant that helps Nigerians to determine public transport, traffic situation, cost of transport. It's called lara.ng. Nigerian regulatory body for the capital market, SEC, has also seen application of artificial intelligence and the rise of artificial intelligence in the investment sector. So they also come up with a rule on robo-advisor. So we have a robo-advisor rule to guide whoever is implementing AI for investment analysis in the capital market. Way back 2019, we've seen a company called that deploy artificial intelligence, won award in Dubai. In Dubai Gulf Information Technology Exhibition, GTES, and that's a $10,000 award. Way back 2019. We also have 247 Medic, an ICT company that guarantees interaction with medical professional within 10 minutes. So Nigerians are really rising, right, to the opportunities, because as many as challenges we have in Nigeria, so also these present a lot of opportunities, right? So we have the advent of smart home, and this is gradually transitioning to a smart estate, right, where from your home, if you can have a smart home, you can also implement smart security around smart estate. This is an implementation in real estate. So we've seen this gradual adoption of AI to streamline processes, to improve customer experience, and to also provide support to customer. So, and we'll continue to see this. In agriculture, we've also seen examples. I have a friend who runs a company called Food Locker in Ibadan, doing very well, applying data science technology to solve problem of food distribution in Nigeria.
Mr. Safi, sorry to interject. I would like you to probably run through to a particular point of the question. Are there any obstacles or challenges that these companies are having? And if there is, what immediate solutions can they adopt?
Right. So let's delve into challenges, right? So the challenges are enormous, right? Ranging from data quality and data privacy and bias and the fear of job loss, right? Today, we've seen, when you consider the opportunity of applying AI for virtual assistants, you could think about AI replacing human there, right? That's a challenge, right? A job loss, right? However, the world is actually becoming a gig economy, right? Where individuals are not supposed to see AI as competitor, but to be enabled, to be AI enabled, so that you can be AI ready and be AI equipped. During the presentation, the presenter spoke about how many people can be working remotely, and that's a projection in the next couple of years that when you are AI enabled, you are tech enabled, you can actually use this knowledge to do gig in different places while staying in the comfort of your home. So data quality. Let me give you an example of data quality. Today, at the exchange, we implemented a platform that distributes stock shares for bank capitalization, right? And also the banks are on board. We've seen a lot of data use. But if you look at the players in the capital markets, we have the exchange sitting at the center. We have the CSCS and the registrar. You see that this data is all over the place. Why the banks have the BVN, right? The CSCS can only account for 6% BVN in the data of investors, right? The registrar, same thing, almost the same percentage of investor with BVN, right? So because there have been capital markets before the advent of BVN. So this makes it very difficult to navigate identity, right? To navigate identity from the CSCS to the exchange to the registrar. So this is a very typical challenge in AI implementation. So data quality and identity management. And I know that the SEC has constituted a committee to look into this. Also bias. Bias can be a challenge with data implementation. I mean, with AI implementation, especially in a country like this where you just need to control the bias of what, I mean, the content or what you feed the AI solution. In order to address all these risks and challenges, what Nigeria needs to do, because you spoke about challenges, and what can we do to mitigate the risk and also work on a comprehensive way to address the challenges. So as a nation, we have to take this as we need to have a comprehensive framework on AI. We need to invest more in developing AI, human capacity, and also create awareness and education among Nigerians from primary school, secondary school. And we've seen a couple of boot camps springing up here and there. We've seen Data Science Network, that used to be Data Science Nigeria. We have a couple of boot camps all over the place. And there are also online training tools that we can use to really improve the knowledge of artificial intelligence. All right, I think let me stop there for now. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Fitz, for that. I think that's quite interesting. I want to take a bit of a detour and go back to Mr. Abel, just because of some of the things that you said. Mr. Abel, before you drop off, I really want to pick you on this. And that's in Nigeria, when we want to implement AI in our businesses and some form of a solution. And one of those things involve investment and a host of other things. And he also mentioned the bias and the fact that the fear of AI in the Nigerian market was, because I've had situations in the past where a number of people say they're afraid that AI is going to take away their job, that they might lose their job because of the advent of AI. How do you think we can prepare our workforce and the Nigerian government for what we believe AI can do in the coming future? Mr. Abel, if you can do this in the next 1 to 2 minutes, I would appreciate it.
Fantastic. So just before 2000, people were worried if internet is going to come and clean everything. But is that the case? No, it's not the case. What we simply see that there are opportunities that we've not even imagined in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s as well. So that's the same thing artificial intelligence is going to do. So simply, in order for you to key into that, you just need to be educated, informed, okay, and aware of what is going on. There are different level of degree of competency. So sometimes people worry about you've got to be an advanced. No, you don't have to. You just simply need to understand what artificial intelligence it is. We talked about prompt management, how to get the best out of it. I would simply say to everyone in this call, artificial intelligence is going to be like websites. So anything you're going to do on the digital space, you're going to engage with artificial intelligence. So it could be a software or a hardware. Those are the two things that you use in order to engage with internet. A software, it could be whatever, and hardware, it could be a phone, a laptop, or whatever. So no matter whatever you're going to use, you're going to engage with artificial intelligence. Now, how can you position yourself? Like I said, is data literacy. Data literacy is fundamental because in the heart of artificial intelligence is data. And that's what he just mentioned previously. And once you understand data, you understand the nomenclature of data, you understand where data is stored, where data is collected, how data is processed, all these things that we've just talked about. And you also understand if the data has a poor quality as well, okay? So for example, if you're talking about date of birth, I like to be practical with this thing. A date of birth does not consist of your month and your date. That is not a full date of birth. What is missing is the year, because without the year, I will not say that that is your full date of birth. So once you understand those things, then what you simply say when you see data, you understand that, okay, something is missing. So for businesses in a practical hand-hand application, what I would suggest you need to start doing, start collecting data as granular as possible. It could be the names of your customer, where they live, what they buy, what they use, the frequency that they buy those things as well, where they exist. Once you begin to take that, what you can simply do is there's a question in the chat talk about machine learning. Machine learning is just a simple technique to aggregate data to understand how you can get some better insights. So that's the practical. Don't worry about the whole artificial intelligence. It's not something that's going to replace mankind. What it's going to do is that it's going to enable mankind to be more smarter. And guess what? I've got this finance take for everyone in the call. At the moment, PwC report have said that Africa can benefit 1.2 trillion in the next 6 years. Okay, 1.2 trillion. Globally is 15 trillion. For Africa is 1.2 trillion. If Nigeria wants to take opportunity of that, Nigeria needs to ensure that we support businesses to adopt artificial intelligence as quick as possible, right? We can fail, no doubt, but we're going to learn the lessons from failure. So please, I encourage you, everyone in this call, if you're a business person, you're working, you're trying to create something, start thinking about collecting data and also start thinking about analyzing the data. And there are several tools that is available that you can put. One of the great things is that you can put your data in GPT and it can analyze the data for you as well and give you better insight. So there are different tools out there. So for those people in businesses that are organizations that you're working in, big organization or medium-sized organization, please advocate for the need for you guys to start embracing technology. It's really important. There are free resources out there, and we need to see more resources that we need to be creating within Nigerian space. Several times we go out there to India, speak to Indian people to get their resources, or we go to Europe to get their resources. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. We need to ensure that we're creating resources, free resources for our people to use. And I think once we do those things, we simply see the benefits. So I'm going to shut up right now, but thank you so much for this opportunity.
Or from there, we really need to start creating some domestic resources here for our people, and then I'll go for now to Hajia, and as you, as someone who operates from a regulator standpoint, how do you think we can address, because we've raised a lot of challenges affecting agriculture, healthcare, different adoption in Nigeria. How do you think we can address some of these challenges in agriculture, for example, healthcare, finance, and a host of other things? And then again, as much as we are tackling those specific areas of those challenges, how do you think the government can also help with this regard, Hajia?
Hi, thank you, Samuel. Good morning, everyone. I want to start by emphasizing the point Abel made that we should bear in mind that artificial intelligence will not replace the human race, just as is publicly, taunted, but it will augment whatever we have. And that there are a few resources, but most importantly, we need to create our own resources. Now, moving on to the challenges, we do have challenges. So right now in Nigeria, we're having food challenges and people are not going to the farm. So let's take out security issues, which I believe the government is doing a lot to tackle. Looking at issues such as non-optimized irrigation, disease outbreaks, and so on, we could leverage on AI-powered systems that can analyze satellite images, weather data, and soil sensors to predict disease outbreaks, and that would enable farmers to take proactive measures. A Brazilian startup, for instance, used an AI-powered drone to detect crop diseases, and that enabled the farmers to increase their yield by about 15%. In Nigeria, I read about a farmer that used an AI-powered app that analyzed images and weather data to predict fungal diseases or maize. And by giving advices to farmers, they were able to apply a specific fungicide that reduced crop loss by 30%. So these are some of the areas we can apply agriculture in. And particularly in Kaduna State, there was a large farm there that used AI-powered precision agriculture tools to optimize irrigation. So they know which area to deploy irrigation tools to be able to supply more water to the farm and fertilizer application. And this particular effort resulted in an increase of 25% in yield and 15% reduction in the amount of water and fertilizer they use on the farm. Coming on to health, I know one of the very first use cases of AI was the ability of the machines like IBM Watson to analyze and diagnose patients even more accurately than the human doctor. So we can use algorithms to analyze medical images, look at patient data, symptoms that will help professionals to diagnose diseases more accurately. Again, we can use AI-powered chatbots to provide health information. And in fact, I think it's in the UK where they use this chatbot and reduced the number of people that come to the hospital for consultation. And we could easily use this, to be able to reach our rural areas where we don't have like state-of-the-art hospitals. And people can actually use AI-powered app to be able to consult. You can imagine what this will do to our health system. Again, we can diagnose, do data analysis on disease tracking, and be able to help public health organizations so that they can identify disease patterns and control outbreaks. I understand Nigeria is already using this kind of tools to be able to contain cholera outbreaks that happen very soon. Google's AI-powered diagnostic tool, it's called Lina, I believe, was able to detect breast cancer more accurately than the radiologist. And then there's American Cancer Society also that use AI-powered tools to be able to use chatbot that resulted in 25% increase in engagement and 15% reduction in support calls. You can imagine what that will do, when we apply them. And then coming to finance, I know during the presentation we mentioned about fraud. We have seen fraud increase, especially in the financial sector year on year. If we're able to proactively look at patterns and prevent this fraud, you can imagine the amount of money we'll be saving, not just for the amount of loss that we incur as a result of the fraud, the legal fees, you have to go to court, to put a PNI on people's accounts and so on. So you get kind of eliminate all this so you can focus on your core business. Again, one area is in Nigeria, only a few people are able to get access to credit. So we don't have what the advanced world has, like in terms of credit scores. So when I walk into a bank and they don't know me, so they don't know whether I'm going to be able to pay. So credit scoring, as long as we're able to harness the data and apply AI on it, can be able to tell a bank or a financial institution whether I'm credit worthy. And in fact, this technology has been used, AI-powered credit scoring system. The Ant Group, in China, they used it and they were able to extend credit to about 100 million people that were previously underserved in the financial sector. And in Nigeria, there was one company that experimented with an AI-powered system that gave loans to 1,000 people who previously were underserved, and they had a 95% repayment rate, which is one of our fundamental problems in the country. So we can analyze these patterns. And again, in fraud detection, JP Morgan Chase, one of the largest banks in the world, was able to reduce fraud losses by 75%, a whopping 75% as a result of applying AI in their investment, in their fraud detection systems. So the second part of your question was about what government can do, right? We need to have AI policies and regulations, specifying clear guidelines and frameworks for AI development, deployment, and use. And I know we're on track, like Abel, was it Abel or Ramoni that mentioned that a lot of work is going on in the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. Canadian Artificial Intelligence Strategy where Canada invested about 125 million Canadian dollars in AI research and innovation. And now Canada is a top destination for AI talent and investment. And you know, a lot of the Japan, when people leave, almost everybody just, Japan's to Canada. And then we need to invest in AI education and training, provide resources for education. And I'm happy that we're looking in this direction, but we need to incorporate this training and education in our normal school curriculum. I'm not sure how many universities we have that are really teaching AI, or where you can graduate with an AI degree or master's and so on. But that's one area we need to look at. Public-private partnership, very important. Government cannot handle it alone. So I'm happy that this seminar is coming up, and the people listening would be able to see that there are opportunities for them to work with the government to drive innovation in this area. Funding and incentives, very, very important. Countries that have gone far, they offer grants, tax breaks, and other incentives to encourage AI adoption and innovation. So if you look at Singapore, for instance, they are providing funding, resources, and expertise. And now Singapore is a leading AI hub in Asia. I hope that, I pray that Nigeria will become a leading hub in Africa. And we need to develop infrastructure. When we started this seminar, people were going on up on the internet. We have to just fix this infrastructure. You can't do AI. It's not, it requires a lot of machine infrastructure, machine processors and memory. So a lot of the things are in the cloud, and you cannot use the cloud if you don't have internet. So we need to look at all that. We need to invest in data centers, cloud computing, high-speed internet connectivity. It's just a given. And then we invest in research and development, and we look at AI ethics. Somebody mentioned that in person. It's a hot topic in the AI community today, ethics and bias, and then digital literacy and awareness, which is one of the things that this seminar is doing. And then government needs to, together with private sector, probably come up with an AI hub or authority to create a central body to coordinate all these activities and provide resources and drive the adoption. So I will stop here.
Thank you very much, Ajia, for that insight. Quite spot on there, and I hear a lot of investment, training, and that. I would like to come to Mr. Daniel. I know Haji had mentioned the fact that we need to invest privately and then from the government to invest on infrastructure that would help AI. I would like to get your take on how important it is for businesses to invest in AI education and then training of their employees, because remember we mentioned the fact that there's also the fear that AI could make some people lose their job. How important is this? And then if you can give us some form of successful case studies in Nigerian businesses that have integrated AI in their operations and how they have done that, Mr. Daniel.
Good morning, everybody, and just please confirm I'm audible.
Loud and clear.
All right. Thank you, Samuel. Good morning, and it's exciting to be on this program. Very good job from Nairametrics. I'm just going to add a few points to all the comments and conversations from the excellent speakers. So Ajia, who is also one of my leaders, she's spoken so excellently well, and Hebel and every other people. My point is just, I'm going to use real life case studies. And the first is, what's the benefit of investing in AI education by businesses? I'll pick 3 important points. The first is, when you look at Nigeria at the moment, our music, our entertainment has grown so big. We are very competitive globally. And when you go to anywhere in the world, one of the things we are known for is our music, our entertainment. And I think it shows we have a very strong opportunity in every other sectors of our businesses to compete globally. Hebel spoke about the investment from Microsoft into OpenAI. Of course, that is a foundation, and I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel. When businesses put in a lot into education, it gives us that opportunity to compete globally. The PwC statistics shows the market is about $15 trillion, which Africa can take about 1.3 out of it. When businesses put in that education into invest in education of AI in their core businesses, train people, then they become very competitive. We have a lot of foreign companies coming to Nigeria. We have a lot of Nigerian companies that want to go global. And that is the beginning of your capability to compete at a global stage. That's number one from a competitive perspective, global competitive. I won't speak too much on the efficiency potential. All the speakers have mentioned how you become quite efficient when the education of AI is into your business. When you create that education, everybody understand how you can become so efficient with AI. AI is not going to take anybody's job. Managers, executives, middle management will realize the importance of how AI will help them to achieve their roles, how they can become more efficient, and how they can accelerate their task. I think the third part of it is from cost management. A lot of the speakers have spoken also on cost management as well. He also creates, I mean, we're all managing a whole lot of around budgets this year from different businesses. A lot of us have done a lot of projections on our businesses, and we're having budget issues because of devaluation. But with the help of AI understanding, you know that you can save costs, you can do things smarter, and you can reduce wastage. There is also opportunity for job creation. I know in my team, for example, there are so many new resources that we've migrated into AI journey, and they become more excited. They become more vibrant. So that's also an opportunity. Like we said, AI is not going to take anybody's job, but there's an opportunity to start creating new skill. You start having, especially the millennials, the Gen Zs, these are the things that can keep them excited, that can take that energy they have and make it more impactful. And one of the things we've done in our organization is we started a training from the executives. I mean, I'm not even saying from the executive, from the board level. We had a board session where we made the board understand the opportunities of artificial intelligence. We went all the way to the executives, we went to the middle management, to the top management. So this is an awareness that we've done, and the education is not just from the junior people understanding it, is all the way from the top down and from the down top. And that's very important in an organization. So everybody understand the value. From the capability perspective, we've partnered with a lot of big techs. I mean, we all have Microsoft licenses. If you're a Microsoft organization, there's Copilot. I mean, Noebel spoke about note-taking. So all those capabilities are there today for people to use and create the value of artificial intelligence. Now, from real implementation, I will speak a little bit about the things we've done differently. Today, Access Bank is the biggest bank on the continent by customer base, over 60 million customers. You can't run that kind of organization the way you run a 10 million base customers bank. That's number one. At some point, you have to put your AI strategy and start immediate implementation. And one of the things an Access Bank has done, for example, is we have been able to build a model that can predict when system will go down. When you have a 60 million customer base, transaction volume has grown from over 3 million per day to over 50 million. Definitely, there will be impact on infrastructure, there will be impact on resources. if you cannot predict when your system will go down, there is no way you will survive. So that's one of the areas of AI we've done. We've put in models that can look at the logs and tell us there's likely there will be a break in the system. Number two, one of the things we're doing as a financial service organization is we give out loan. If you cannot put AI into your lending model, then you are definitely going to lose a lot of money. So you keep fine-tuning it and finding the best model that gives you the right result and bring you value, bring value to your organization.
Yeah. Sorry to interject there, but obviously there are so many opportunities in that space. We're going to have to move to our next session now, Daniel Awe, and I'm still staying with you on this. We're going into the entrepreneurial opportunities, right, with AI for the Nigerian market. We know that there has been some conversation around the relevance of artificial intelligence in some quarters. There are some people that are saying, perhaps people are just building a skill set that may not be as applicable here in Nigeria, and they'll end up working for, internationals or other more civilized countries. So, there are conversations around the mismatch from the skills, right, to the perhaps solutions, meeting up with the local challenges. So how can aspiring entrepreneurs, for example, in Nigeria, identify and also capitalize on opportunities to develop artificial intelligence that are tailored to local challenges?
I think IGR actually did a very good job on huge opportunities in Nigeria. She spoke about agriculture, but I think one thing I will talk about regarding the opportunities for entrepreneurs is being head of a fintech foundry. One of the things we are doing right now, and critical focus is social impacts. We are very, very interested. I mean, the entire partners we're working with, UNDP, we are all looking at social impact. And I think that's one area that a lot of problem needs to be solved. We're having food shortage, we're having issues around agriculture, we're having issues around security, even education. So there's so much to be solved in Nigeria, and I think those are the areas entrepreneurs should be looking at. I will give a very good example. There is a startup that we're working with who has developed a platform that is supposed to train about 2 million pupils that are out of school. That alone is a major impact-driven opportunity. That's number one. We have a startup that also built a model that can identify when a crop is going to have a fungi or going to have some diseases. So there's so much opportunity in agriculture that we think entrepreneurs should be looking at. Then over and beyond that, most businesses, like we said, we are all talking about AI, of course, we're talking about the opportunities. So many big businesses are not yet in line. I think training and understanding how to help businesses grow on the journey is also a huge opportunity. There's a startup that builds a model currently, a very funny model, a Nigerian, and this platform is being used by Canadian businesses. It will help you. It will tell the system, I want to go for a party. I want to wear a black dress, and the system will put up a dress for you. And if you don't like the dress it put for you, change it. It dresses you up and link you up to all the e-commerce sites. So there's an opportunity in e-commerce as well. I think entrepreneurs could be looking at.
So a lot of opportunities there. Thank you so much, Daniel Awe, the head of African FinTech Foundry. We're coming now to Afiz Ramani, Chief Information Officer at the NGX Group. No, actually, let's stay with Daniel Awe, right? Although I think you've answered the question. So let's move on. Afiz Ramani, what are some of the resources? Are there resources, first of all, and support systems that are available for artificial intelligence startups in Nigeria? And, how can they be used effectively, utilized?
All right. Thank you very much, Joanna. So very, very, very simple and very good question for all the attendees and everybody on the call. Resources today, it's almost global. What I have access to with internet is what every other person has access to in every part of the world. The internet today, right, provides a lot of opportunity for anyone that desires learning, right? And if you are looking at delving into data science, it's not a 1 day, 1 week adventure, right? You need some foundation, right? You need some foundation in understanding data, right? Understanding programming language and libraries like pandas in Python, right? Then building models with machine learning, right? Then delving into deep learning and artificial intelligence, right? So in Nigeria today, I say internet is relatively available, right? So with internet and learning platforms like Coursera, Udemy provide opportunity for anyone to learn data science, machine learning, algorithms, and delve into artificial intelligence. There are also support systems like Bootcamp, EduTech. I mentioned in my last comments, Data Science Network, that their aim is to actually train Nigeria, 1 million Nigeria to support over 2 billion people, right, globally or in Africa. So there is a lot of opportunity. In fact, many artificial intelligence or data scientists are self-taught today, right? Because with internet, the opportunity that YouTube even presents also for some specific training is enormous, right? So I believe very strongly that with internet, the limits, the sky is the limit for anyone that desires internet. I mean, that desires knowledge of artificial intelligence. We have also seen educational institutions, delving from their old curriculum of, we have some educational institutions that today they are still, teaching Fortran as the main programming language, BASIC. But today they are transitioning into object-oriented programming languages like Python, Java, to which, of course, Python, which is the basic, the base and most popular programming language for data driven technology and artificial intelligence. So that's for me, I believe with internet and all the learning resources available, the sky is the limit for anyone to delve into AI. Thank you.
All right, the possibilities are endless, but I believe there's also a place for partnership in all of this, right? So how can we foster partnership, and what sort of partnership do we need to see to drive AI innovations and adoption?
Very good question. Like I said in my last comment, every time you see challenges, these days I see immediate opportunity. We just deployed a shared distribution platform, right? And as innovative as this technology is, you can tell the need for more collaborative efforts within the capital markets. These would improve onboarding and deepening the capital market. Today, the South African exchange is a $1 trillion exchange. But in Nigeria today, we are less than 1/10 of that. We are less than 10% of that. Nigerian population is almost ×4 of South African population. We have the populace, we have the age group, we have people that can really drive the economy of Nigeria. But today, we are not able to do that because there is not enough collaboration. what are the collaboration that we require? Let's say the capital market. There need to be a bridge between the capital market and the banking sector. There need to be a unification. Today, everybody is identified with their BVN today, right? If I have my BVN, why can't I use one BVN to access my capital? Because it's all about wealth creation. Banking, I want to save in bank. In the capital market, I want to invest, do a couple of things. So we need to foster, partnership between the capital markets and the banking sector for data, for identity. We need to solve that problem of identity, right? Today, you can see recently there were cases of identity theft of even notable Nigeria that really trended on Twitter, right? As put forward by Fisayo Suyombo, and it trended after months, right? So data privacy is a major issue that we need to solve, right? And the government also need to be very decisive, right, on data knowledge in Nigeria, right? Nigerians need to understand that data is really good, like we call it. It's not just by paying the lip service that say, oh, data is gold, data is oil, they need oil. No, we need to, let this drill down through, decisive efforts in our educational system, right? So, a lot of opportunity that partnership can really unfold in Nigeria. Yeah, and I'll give an example in the capital market. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for giving it some context there, right? With the partnership, obviously using your space, the space within which you operate, the capital markets and the banks, how they can cooperate to drive that adoption and innovation when it comes to artificial intelligence. Thank you very much, Afiz Ramani. And you also mentioned the role of the government, and I'm coming to Hajia with the next question. Obviously, as the immediate past director of ICT, Central Bank of Nigeria, I'm sure you can provide a lot of insights, Hajia, when it comes to the role the government has to play when it comes to fostering AI research and development in the country. How do you think the government can push initiatives and funding to support AI startups and also entrepreneurs in Nigeria?
Right, thank you, Joanna. I think government has started doing a lot. Way back in 2020, when the nation released National Digital Economy Policy, that outlined plans on how to digitize the economy, and that included AI, data science, and emerging technologies. They also have Nigerian National Artificial Intelligence Policy. It was also released in 2020. Now that established a framework for AI development, deployment, and use in Nigeria. And in 2019, there was AI for Nigeria initiative. This was launched by NITDA, National Information Technology Development Agency, to promote AI adoption and innovation. And then very recently, they had a National Artificial Intelligence Strategy Workshop. The event was brought together by NITDA and the Digital Economy, Ministry. It brought together researchers, I think one of the panelists already mentioned, and startups to collaboratively develop a framework for AI adoption in Nigeria. They discussed largely on developing a strategy for the nation, and they have guidelines on how to craft it. And I hope very soon we'll see this strategy. This will now be rolled out. That will include implementation and all the support that people will need. And another important thing the nation has done is to create the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, a center for research. This was established by NITDA, and that plays a pivotal role. And they're dedicated to advancing research, which they have been doing, and developing and capacity building. And if you go to their website, you will see that a lot of research is going on, and they're developing these models that people can leverage on. And then furthermore, they are given, well, I don't know whether this has come to light, but I do understand that they're given tax breaks and grants and funding to startups to be able to leverage on and focus on AI. This is the right strategy that the government is taking. And so improving digital infrastructure, fostering innovative system, all these hubs they're doing. I know somebody mentioned that this GTEx, they went to Dubai. Is this Dubai or Turkey somewhere? And some of our people are really presenting models and winning awards, as a result of these efforts that government is putting together. And then we have our national data protection regulation. So when we talk about AI, everything AI needs is data, right? Without data, you can't even talk about AI in the first place. So we have a commission, is it commission now or agency that deals with AI data protection, and they have started going out to organizations, advising them, insisting that they have chief data officers and all that, to make sure, we have the security we need around data, and to be able to have real clean data. And I know when I was in CBN, we started collaborating with other government agencies to be able to share data. This data needs to come together in the whole nation to be able to harness the power of AI. Because if you have like a data that is just a subset of some other data, then this thing we're talking about being able to infer, to bring out insights, you won't have the full benefit. The whole thing that makes AI really special is the fact that it's able to look at different sets of data and be able to correlate them in a way that human beings may not possibly do in a short possible time to be able to provide insights. So those are some of the things that the nation is doing to be able to push the adoption of AI and make sure we take our place in the Committee of Nations.
Right, taking our place and rising to the occasion, being a part of the conversation when it comes to AI. Thank you so much for that, Adja. But I'd like to dwell a bit more on the ethics part of things, right? And there have been concerns around the ethics around AI. What role do you think the government can also play when it comes to ethics of, artificial intelligence, those considerations, and also regulation? There are those who are also skeptical, seeing how, other tech innovations, should I say, I'm going to be careful how I delve into that, have been regulated here in Nigeria. How do you think the government should adopt regulations, and the ethics around artificial intelligence here in Nigeria?
So I think, well, the good thing is we have people who are passionate, the helms of affairs, the minister himself, the head of NITDA and all that, championing these efforts. And they're very, very passionate about it. And I do hope with the collaborations that are going on, both here and internationally, we'll be able to see a difference so that we can give people space to be able to innovate. Coming back to the ethics, no doubt there is bias, there is discrimination. At the end of the day, the base algorithms that are developed were developed by human beings. So you just know that some of the biases will be carried forward into the models. And so for businesses that would, utilize these models, what we'll advise is they should insist on transparency and accountability, so you know what's really driving the algorithms behind all these models and so on. So it's not against your own principles. For instance, there was a court case where an AI system actually gave people a lot of discounts. And they mentioned that, no, it's not a human being, it was a mistake and so on. But the court held that you developed the models, you used it, and so people were entitled to those discounts. And so we need to be careful, and so we don't carry the human kind of inequities into the models we develop. Like in employment, there shouldn't be discrimination, lending, because we're allowing machines now to take decisions, criminal justice system. Transparency, all decision-making processes have to be transparent and explainable. How did you arrive at this? So, for instance, if you have high stakes, like in healthcare and finance, very, very careful. And then the implications of using AI itself, particularly in areas like surveillance. While we will be happy to have our data out there, we also want to have the same privacy, to an extent that we have. Autonomous weapons. You don't want people to be dropping drones and be killing innocent people because it's a machine that could make mistake. So at the end of the day, really, when you use the AI, you want to have, another set of checks by possibly human beings, at least maybe at the beginning, until you're comfortable that the machine is thinking well. And decision-making areas, are critical for healthcare. And then there's privacy and data protection, as I said. We need to have adequate measures to make sure we don't allow individuals to invade our privacy and misuse the data. And of course, human autonomy and control. AI will augment human capabilities, but they are not going to replace them. So government needs to consider how to maintain human control over the systems. And then there's social impact, social inequalities, and then or they could create new ones, even if they don't exacerbate the existing ones. And so government must consider a broader societal implications for AI and strive for inclusive development.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Aja. Well said. A lot of considerations that the government needs to, put in mind as they come up with regulations and drive the ethics around it. Much appreciated, Aja. Let's come to Daniel, the head of Africa FinTech Foundry. And now we're coming to the final session, looking to the future, right? The prospects, ethical considerations for AI in the Nigerian economy. And, we're looking more specifically at Nigerian businesses, Daniel. So how do you think Nigerian businesses and government can balance AI innovations when it comes to job creation, when it comes to workforce development as well? Daniel?
Thank you. I think it's important for businesses and governments to collaborate in building the future of innovation for AI. Number one, if you look at the successes of people like countries like Singapore, India, there was so much interest from government. And the first thing is we have to start building this innovative mindset from the schools. Government has to be very deliberate and start creating curricula that start all the way from secondary school to universities and start letting the entire next generation of employees know that this is the future. That's our number one. Number two, government needs to be very deliberate to invest. We've spoken a lot about infrastructure. We've spoken a lot about the challenges, and most of the challenges, government needs to show a lot of interest, and huge investments will definitely make a lot of difference in how the innovation can be sustained for the future and create opportunity for the next set of our AI experts. Then there must be strategic framework to guide how the businesses will partner with government as well. Sometimes you can easily say, oh, government, private-public partnership, etc., but there is no framework, and all those things are foundational challenges that makes those partnerships fail. From businesses, we have a lot of roles to play, especially the private sector as well. Private sector should not just look at themselves alone, should look at how can they contribute into the ecosystem. There should be a lot of investments. As we're talking of government should invest, should look at the curricula as well in schools. Businesses should also be putting in interest in how they can sponsor different programs. We've seen a lot of businesses doing CSRs. So I should be seeing businesses going into so much CSRs on AI, and businesses should also be ready to evolve as an organization. So the more you see businesses evolving themselves, then it's going to transform the entire ecosystem. And I think overall, it can't be only government, it can't be only businesses. There must be a strategic synergy that will drive this collaboration, and probably some strategic policies, maybe from tax support or tax rebates when you're putting in investments in AI. And because we know that's the future, and either we like it or not, we can't exonerate ourselves from the global journey and global narrative. Thank you.
I can't count the number of times I've heard the word collaboration and partnership in this conversation, and I think that just highlights the importance of it. Thank you very much for that, Daniel. And I'm coming to Afiz Ramani now, and obviously Nigeria, if we could be the poster child for diversity, we probably would be 250 ethnic groups, and God knows how many languages are spoken. So bringing AI into that conversation, in what ways do you think AI can be used to promote that inclusivity, diversity within Nigerians, businesses, government, and society as well, so everyone is carried along?
Thank you very much. Yeah, so thank you very much. What I understand is that for any country to really thrive, government need to be decisive, and government need to also be business friendly. So government first, right? So government can apply AI in solving the problem of bias. Nigeria, as a case study, is a country where you have quite a lot of bigotry, and this is counterproductive, right? So with data-driven decision making, right? Government can really get some insightful user feedback to drive some analysis, right, for diverse demographic groups, to ensure that policies that would address some of these issues among Nigerians are put out. This is very, very important because it does not only guarantee unity of a country, it also make us have a stable polity. And this is very crucial to economic development, right? In some country, I think I remember BBVA in Spain came up with a model, an anonymized, they mine anonymized card information, right? And they use it to determine how the spending patterns of the populace. Government was able to, subscribe to this data tool, this research tool, to roll out incentive to different geographical zones. So let's give an example. When there was COVID, and Nigerians were really, stamping for, government support in different areas, right? So if you have this amount of information, a data-driven insights, where to drive resources. When you go into bias mitigation, let's talk about bias in mitigation, how you can apply. So AI-powered tool can help you to eliminate bias. For example, in recruitment, so talking about business, in recruitment, you can anonymize resumes, right? So an organization doesn't really need to know the name behind a resume, right? And this will give you a really qualified candidate with required skill sets as required. Also, sentiment analysis, right? Sentiment analysis is very crucial and is very, very important for every organization, right? So, for instance, if an organization has web presence, and you can actually mine data in the social media space. Say, for instance, how people are talking about you on Twitter, how they are talking about you on Facebook. That will determine what you represent and how you can improve your business services. So there are quite a lot of opportunities that we can go on and on, but I don't think time will permit us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, over to you, Samuel.
All right, thank you very much, Joanna. Thank you very much, Mr. Afeez, for that insight. And then we're getting close to the end of this webinar, but we have some questions from our audience, the Q&A session, and even in the chat box. I see that our panelists have also been engaging with them, giving some responses to them. But for some of those ones that we were able to capture, we just want to have some brief conversations around that. And we have a question from Abiola Lawal. He's saying that how can we use AI tools to control and check quality assurance of products? I don't know which of our panelists would like to chime on this question. I think Mr. Hafiz, you unmuted your mic. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, so I saw the question too. So very good question, right? And it's actually when you're talking about products, it's a peculiar situation, right? There are many products and features. There's something they call feature engineering in data science, right? So there are many features that you can consider in quality assurance. My computer is placed on a table now. How do I determine the quality of the table produced in a factory? I'm using a computer. How do I determine the quality of that computer? So how this is done, there is no one tool that fits all. And that's why the noise about artificial intelligence is not directly like a money spinner, right? It's something that needs to be implemented and made to grow over time before you get the results. The process of Ajia and Mr. Daniel gave examples of how implementation of AI and data models have led to increase in performance of company, churning rate of customer and stuff like that. These are a meticulous application of data model, machine learning algorithms. So you need to consider the products. You need to capture parameters. When you talk, when we hear the likes of ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and other AI projects, they will tell you that recently, I just heard Facebook said they are releasing Llama. The latest version has over 450 billion parameters, right? Now, you need to confirm the parameters that you are looking out for and which one really has weight. This is really data science and algorithm. So you need to put weight to which one is really, if this one is really down, then the product is not good. If this one is high, it really doesn't matter. I want this one to be. So you need to have parameters to consider to create a model. That model is what you will now subject each product to, in a programmatic way. So it requires writing code to create model for that specific use case. And which can be implemented in similar industry. And you can actually determine and predict, you can predict the quality of any product subjected to that model. So there needs to be a data model for this purpose. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Hafiz. I'm sure your response has been able to help Mr. Abiola there. I've seen a lot of the conversations around on the chat has to do with availability of data. So I think one of the things that we have reiterated here is the fact that for any model that you want to create, you need robust data. You need to start mining data at any point in time. And I know that one of the things that we have as an issue here in Nigeria is the absence of data or absence of quality data. I want to come to you, Hajia. First, are there any policies or any reforms going on to improve our data collection from a national point of view? And then beyond that, what can we do to improve our data collection? Because someone would probably say the last time we've done our census, for example, it's a mile years from now. And this also has some ripple effect on some of the indices that we report, even from a macroeconomic standpoint. There anything's being done here? And then beyond that, what can we do to improve our data in Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so as I mentioned, that this data really exists, but they're in silos. So Central Bank has its own data, NBS has data, NCC has data, National Identity Manager Committee has Commission has data and so on, like that, and different sectors. So when you look for the data, you're likely to find that some of them, of course, on paper, although I think there are some efforts to digitize them. As I mentioned earlier, I know in the financial sector, the regulators are trying to exchange data. So there's this kind of, do I call it mistrust? People don't want to open up their data because they don't know where it will end up. And then you wake up tomorrow and there's sensitive information that you begin to find on social media and all that. People are kind of reluctant to share this data. So I'm not sure government as an entity is looking at harnessing and consolidating these various data that are in silo, but I think it's something we need to do as a nation. Otherwise, we're not likely to reap the full benefit of artificial intelligence. As I said earlier, without data, you can't, what are you training your model on? So we started with data protection. In terms of data quality, which may, dovetail into collecting the data, doing the ETL, extracting, transforming, and cleaning, and doing all the kind of things you're supposed to do to have a credible source that people can build models to leverage on. I'm not sure that initiative is happening. But I believe if we would make a communique from this webinar and send to the right authorities, then we may be able to begin something.
Yeah, I mean, that's an excellent idea. We'll definitely have to work on that, Hajia. Thank you so much for your contribution to this conversation. It's been a very exciting conversation, right? How to make money using AI applicable to the government, entrepreneurs, business people, and so on and so forth. So we want to take this time to say a huge thank you to all our speakers, our panelists today. From the opening presentation. In fact, when I listened to the opening presentation, it was almost like that was a webinar all in, one. But we had the panelists also flesh out the conversation. So a huge thank you to everyone that participated today, keeping the chat box busy and the conversation going. Of course, this is brought to you by Nairametrics. We have these conversations on a regular and across different platforms. So we have these webinars zeroing in on different industries every month, right? We have the industry outlook. This month happened to be artificial intelligence, which was, a great pick for a time like this. And of course, on Twitter, we have X Spaces conversations twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we drive more conversation. On TV as well, News Central, we have a capital markets show every weekday from 4 p.m. so you can tune in. So there's so many thought leadership programs that Nairametrics is driving. The best thing you can do is to follow Nairametrics on social media to make sure that you are up to date with everything that's going on and all the conversations around the Nigerian economy. Once again, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone. Thank you once again, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday and the rest of your weekend as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.